Hello, and welcome back to another edition of Carrie's Gardening Channel. So we have our tomatoes over here, and we've been getting nice tomatoes off. So we got some down here that are ripe. We have our, I believe it's delectable squash and sweet dumpling squash back there. And then we have our squash and zucchini plants here. You can see they are flowering. We have little squashes on. And we have our zucchini as well. We have our green beans. And you'll notice here that the milk jugs did not work for us. We actually had to take the plants out and plant them right into the ground. So the milk jugs are not something that I recommend using. It might work for some people, but it did not work for us. So these are in the ground now. And then the corn is back there. And we have our peppers here. See, we got peppers hanging on. Last year our peppers got that big and that heavy that they were falling over. And we actually pickle our peppers. Oh, there's the swallowtail. So we actually pickle our peppers and we eat them later. We do a sweet pepper blend, which is the one that I like to eat. And then my parents, they do a hot pepper blend. And we have more squash plants here. And we have our cabbage and our broccoli. We're starting to get our broccoli head on. We were really late getting this stuff in. There's another one over there. We were really late getting this stuff in from how wet it was. We couldn't get in the ground, and there's actually some places that they haven't even gotten into the ground yet because I guess from how wet it was and now with being how late it is. And we do have grapes on. We're having a problem this year with the Japanese beetles. We have our traps out. I'm going to have to plant. This is all Japanese beetle damage. And like I said, we do have our traps out there. There's one right there. And we've been emptying them and emptying them. And for some reason, there's just so many Japanese beetles this year. I'm going to have to plant some 4 o'clocks next year to help get rid of the Japanese beetle population. My eggplant here. tomato plants are almost as tall as me. So we did put our grass clippings down, and that's helping to control the weeds. It's also helping to keep the moisture in, so we don't have to water as much. We have some of our onions over here. These were supposed to be candy onions, but for some reason they are not sweet. They're very bitey. It could be because they had gotten dry, but it's just something that we're noticing. And this is another onion patch here. This one here needs weeded, and this over here needs weeded. Again, this is another onion patch. Trying to keep the weeds out is it is a challenge. That black landscapers fabric that we started using this year for the flower farm, that really seems to be working for the weeds, for weed control. And I'll have a link for that down in the description. It's the first year that we've used it, and we've noticed a huge reduction in the weeds. So I gotta get some water out to the parsley here. This here really needs some water. So this is another pepper plant here. These are the mini bell peppers. And these are some potatoes here. Now I'm going to be doing, you're going to have a video coming later on when we take these out. And it's going to show the whole process for how we're growing these in the containers. So that is coming. It's coming later on when we take these out. Now this one here is flowering. So what that means is that it will have potatoes on underneath. That's what it typically means. So this one here is just getting ready to start flowering. We're growing these in 5-gallon and 1-gallon buckets. And these here are carrots here. And we're going to be getting the tops of these trimmed to push the energy back down into the carrots so we get our larger carrots. This right here is a ladybug, I believe it's pronounced pupa. And what this is doing is this went from the larva stage and it's in the pupa stage, and then it's going to hatch out into an adult. Our lettuce crop is done, so we're going to be redoing this side of the container here, this side of the planter, and taking the soil out, refreshing it back up, and we're going to be putting slow bolt lettuce in because that's a heat tolerant lettuce. And this is another potato crop here that is growing in an old bathtub. And we have our sweet potatoes here. They're growing in bags with holes in the bottoms of them. And this bathtub here, sorry, this bathtub here does have holes in the bottom of it. So these are growing in here. And then we have more potatoes here. And we have more potatoes here. And here's another thing of potatoes. So trying to keep these watered is a big thing when they're growing in the containers. So, like I said, we've been trucking water in and these totes up here, and then we use the water to water the vegetables and the plants with. There's a sweet potato growing in the second greenhouse in a bag. This one here was just put in. And there's some more sweet potatoes growing in the old greenhouse. So here's the other eggplants here. These were just put in not too long ago. And the bedhouse greenhouse, you can see we have an eggplant on here. I did get a pink tongue eggplant off already. That was really good. So typically in previous years, I've grown my eggplants in containers in the old greenhouse. And this year I want to clean the old greenhouse completely out, and I want to clean the second greenhouse completely out. And then this one here will follow. So I decided to try them in the raised beds here to see how well they'll grow. They're really growing nicely so far from what I'm seeing. They have really nice color to them. I was really late getting them in the ground because I had to wait for the lettuce and the bok choy and spinach to start dying out before I could put anything else in. So I'm really excited to see how this does for me this year. The potatoes down in the hollow garden, they are not doing very well. They got put in really late. The deer are just completely destroying the crop down there. They're eating it down to the ground, so I don't know what we're going to get out of that down there. The lettuce is going to seed. The bok choy is going to seed. It already reseeded itself in here with my celosia. And this here is the Merlot lettuce. This one here is going to seed. The cucumbers here, we're going to have to get another crop going of these. These are pretty much done. We still do have quite a bit coming, but we want to get our new crop going so that when these are completely done, we can just take these out, put the new crop right in, and we'll have different baskets and all that stuff so this here can be cleaned. We've made over 5 gallons of pickles. So we have some more here. And this is actually black mold. That came from the statice. Something had happened with the statice that was growing in here, and it got some black mold on it, and when we went to get it out, it went everywhere on the cucumbers and stuff. So we were trying to like wash it down, and we've been spraying this with neem oil. But this fence here is working really well to keep the cucumbers up. They're not going down into my celosia. I just cut a bunch of celosia out of this here today. But this is really working nice to keep these growing up, and gives us our extra space that we need. And then we have our tomato plant over here. And this fell over. It should have been staked. Not sure what we're going to do with this one yet. So I believe I showed you the vegetables that we have growing. Showed just what we have going on, what we have coming up. So I hope you enjoyed the tour. So if you like my video, please like, comment, subscribe. Please don't forget to hit the little notification button that tells I put a new video on. Also follow me on Twitter. I'll have a link down in the description for my Twitter account. Thank yous for watching, and have a nice day. Bye!